Welcome in, everybody, to the DGD Podcast. This is your host, Robert Reynolds. Got Keon down below, Dan to the side. Boys, we're doing something different. If you're watching this, we're doing it on Saturday night. A little bit of Saturday night fun. Anyways, welcome to the DGD Podcast, brought to you by our friends over at Alumni Hall, powered by the Fans First Sports Network. Gentlemen, tonight we have a huge question. Can Georgia win a national championship with Gunner Stockton as QB1? We're going to answer this question. We're going to make a case for and against. We're just going to have a nice little conversation, try to hit all the good talking points. It's going to be a heavy show. I feel this way. Obviously, if you've been living under a rock, if you're Patrick Starr, Carson gets hurt in the SEC title game. Right before the half, Gunner leads us to a SEC championship victory, and now we are waiting to see who we play in the Sugar Bowl. So let's get started, gentlemen. First things first, let's start off. How's everyone doing tonight?
Good. Heisman Trophy ceremony's over, and the bowl season has started. South Alabama versus
Western
Michigan
right now in real time right now
when I got on. So
yep, that was the same for me. Chris Hayes, Coach Hayes also, in the building. How are you?
What's going on, everybody? I'm currently on the Alumni Hall website, trying to get me some SEC championship merch. So shout outs to Alumni Hall. Hopefully you got my size.
That's right. Hopefully so. Hey, if you need your SEC gear, folks, DGDpodcast.com/alumni hall. Use our website if you're doing it online. 8% of the proceeds will go to the Classic City Collective. You supporting them dogs, right? You are supporting them dogs if you use our website and shop Alumni Hall. Or, hey, just go in stores if you can. They're in Athens. And mention the show and get 10% off your order. The choice is yours. Coach Hayes, doing well. Glad to hear that, sir. Hope you're doing well. Hopefully we can bring in some good insight and analysis in this and to answer this question on tonight's episode. So let's get started, gentlemen. First things first, Keon. I'm going to ask you, I'm going to start with you. Can Georgia win a national title with Gunner Stockton as your starting quarterback?
For one game, yeah. 100%. We all did hear that Carson, of course, took the injury, but they're saying that it's a bruise, so which means there is possibility for him to be back after the Sugar Bowl, which I do like those odds. Without Carson, absolutely not. I have no faith in it at all. At all.
A little bit different. Yes, I think we've all heard that there's a really good chance that Carson only misses the Sugar Bowl and he's ready to roll after that. However, what I would say is with the bracket that the Bulldogs have received, I think there's a very strong possibility you get Notre Dame and then possibly Boise State, because I don't trust Penn State to show up to play twice. I think that's a very realistic thing. So if that were the scenario, where you played those two teams in that order, what you're really asking Gunner to do at that point is to win one game, and that would be against whoever comes out of the top. And, Keon, what you said is you trust him to win one game. Well, what have we been hearing all season long is that Carson needed to stop trying to be hero and Superman and just use with the weapons around him and just play within the system. Gunner is quite capable of doing that. And then he also adds that dimension of a little bit of a run. I agree with you. The very end of that Georgia-Texas game was a little bit concerning because they didn't trust him to do a lot of different things. So I get your hesitation. But given the bracket that we have and the possibility that you would be playing Oregon, you may not be able to beat Oregon with him. But to your point, you're really asking him to win one game.
Yeah, so let's do this. Let's do this. We're talking about this, but if for anyone that's not aware, right, the seeding's out. Georgia would be hosting the winner of Indiana and Notre Dame in the quarterfinals. That's the Sugar Bowl.
Not hosting shit. We're playing the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans.
Right. Yeah, we're not hosting at all.
Yeah, fair point. Okay. Caught me off guard. Anyways, you have also on your side of the bracket, you've got Penn State and what was it? Penn State, Indiana.
SMU.
SMU. Wow. I am tired. Penn State, SMU. The winner of that goes on to play Boise State.
Yep.
In the quarterfinals. Obviously, whoever wins that would then play the winner of Georgia, whoever from the bottom half or bottom part of that as well in the semis before moving to the national championship. So with that being said, I want to look at the Sugar Bowl, right? For me, I think Georgia has a good matchup there against either one of those teams.
Yep.
If I'm looking at the Sugar Bowl hypothetically with Notre Dame, one of the things I think Notre Dame can be, I guess, attacked schematically is the run game. The guys in the on their interior aren't massive. They're not massive individuals. They're lighter guys, and I think that bodes well for inside run schemes, if you will. You could look at situations. Look at USC. USC ran all over them. Their offensive line was literally moving those defensive linemen back into the backers, combo blocks, things like that. And I think Georgia would have to look at that and try to mimic some of that. Also, I kind of like what Gunner brings at the quarterback position from a running perspective. We saw this in the SEC title game. Hill and all these other Texas linebackers, things like that, dude, they had to respect his run game. They couldn't hit and crash down immediately, and that opened up lanes in the run game for ETN and Nate Frazier as well. I have to look at that and say that that's something that with Carson Beck, we've been very vulnerable to defensive ends crashing down with no regard for him running. And now that you've got that kind of mobile quarterback or mobile enough quarterback, it's slowing those guys down, making them having to stop and respect his running ability. That opens up the run game fairly well. We saw it against Texas.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you can go +1 with the running back, with the quarterback as a running back, that's an advantage for the offense. I think the biggest concern, and I think I'm not going to speak for him, but I think with Keon, I think the part that would be a little bit concerning is can he make all the throws necessary to win an important game? And that's the one thing that remains to be seen. And it's not fair to say that he can't because we've never seen him try. But it is fair to say we have questions about it. And that's logical. So, yeah, there are some reasons to be concerned, if he were to have to carry the torch the entire way. But then again, sometimes all a guy needs is an opportunity. I mean, I don't think anybody was real freaking excited when Stetson Bennett took over at quarterback, and that worked out just fine for us. So I was not the biggest proponent of Gunner coming out of high school based on everything that I saw and all the games that I did. And I had my reservations, whenever he was at a talent disadvantage, he didn't necessarily play great in those games. And that was my concern, was whenever he didn't have a talent advantage, what was he going to do? But the good thing is at Georgia, he's going to have the talent advantage in the first two matchups, right? So the only one that you could say would be equal or less than is if we got in a match. I'm sorry, my dog is going crazy, and I don't know why. The only time it would be a situation is if we got against Oregon or Ohio State or somebody coming out of that top side. So
yeah, but the good thing is you don't have to worry about them till the national title game.
Correct.
No, that's beneficial too.
Yep.
Keon, I know you mentioned you don't have a lot of confidence with them. What do you see? And I think Primetime Dog's got a good point here that might help you out here. He says that playing experience matters a lot in the playoffs. Is that part of is that something that weighs heavy on you in regards to your reservation?
Yeah. Yes.
What could other teams do to try to kind of take advantage of that and attack it? What are some things that you think could happen potentially?
I think they could send like delayed blitzes that could end up, really getting them rattled and then just putting them on a goose chase at that point. Then you'll have corners potentially crashing down and getting them as well. So there's that. There's different stunts that you could pull. I mean, it all depends on how the opposing teams go about playing our offensive line. Like, honestly, do I think that Gunner is good enough that, we've been because it's a multitude of things, right? Like, I don't really at this point, I'm ready for us to get rid of Bobo, but now it's like, Bobo, you finally have your quarterback in that you personally recruited, and you have 3 fucking weeks to work with this guy. So if we buddy, if we don't make it to the national championship, it's like, okay, quarterback situation. Apparently, we're bringing in some kid from Cal who I also think is mid as
Mendoza.
well. Yeah, that's not getting it done. So you're gonna have him along with Gunner and the rest of the quarterback room if no one transfers, which we don't know because that could go any other way. At that point, we don't end up in the national championship. I'm fully saying full blown quarterback battle with everybody. That's gonna be here.
Yeah, I think Primetime's onto something here. He's talking about Gunner having a different release, having a hitch in it, right? Especially on quick screens. Dan's got his hand up. I'm gonna let Dan talk about something real fast. Whatever he's got to get off his chest. And
You're muted.
Yeah, there you go.
Still
Damn
muted.
it, boy.
No, we can hear you.
Primetime Dog watched a video that was going around on the internet, and they were showing the breakdown of the hits and Gunner's throw on the screen passes. Tell me if I'm wrong, Prime Dog. You saw that, didn't you? 100% you watched that video because that's where he got that from. But it's real. It's saying it's not real. It's 100% real. But as soon as he put that in there, I was like, oh, we saw the video too. But that's what that is. Yeah, there is. It's just the way that he throws it. Primetime says he saw it in the game. He didn't see the breakdown video. Okay. Well, anyway, a quarterback coach was doing the breakdown video of that throw. And it's just a little bit of a delay. With Beck, it's more of an open boom here, and he's got to sit open and jerk the arm back. So it is definitely a thing. And Bobo is inundated with throwing those stupid screens. So he's going to have to find something else to do.
I'm going to pull a devil's advocate for you right here to Primetime's comment. So one of the things with Carson Beck, right, him playing baseball in high school, you really notice he can catch the ball and literally just catch it, flip, go. It's very quick, sudden. That's what you need on those quick screens. And I think Bobo calls that a lot because that's also something that he feels that you can attack because it's something that Beck is good at. With in the second half of the Texas game, right, an SEC championship, if you noticed the little maybe not even an eighth of a second difference, the little difference in the release timing on that really set it off in a sense where, to me, I think in the Sugar Bowl you probably won't see a lot of those screens. Like Dan said, you've got 3 weeks to change it up in a sense to fit his situation. I think you shouldn't be really throwing a lot of screens with him. I don't think you should. I think you make sure you set up the right run scheme, but I think at the same time you make it to where you don't have to layer passes, right? Like comebacks, outs, things like that. He can just rip the shit. We know he's got an arm. Coordinate it for him to stay comfortable. Get ahead on the sticks. And if you do that, utilize the run game, you're going to have, well, we talked about this earlier, Keon, you're going to have ETN coming back, should be fully healthy with the ribs. Roderick Robinson should be fully healthy. Branson, I think, maybe. And then obviously Nate Frazier. So you're going to be healthy in the running back room as well. And I think that's something that you have to take into account because you might, when you have a quarterback with this amount of experience, the other folks around him have to step up. And I think that's going to be something that's going to be looked at in the Sugar Bowl.
We've been looking for people to step up all season long. and I
We
can't
shall
give you I can't give you a solid name. Anybody like
We have a visitor.
That's my daughter. Sorry.
but I mean, we've been waiting on people to step up and set the tone and be the difference maker all season long. And our defense has carried us all the way up until this point.
Speaking of defense, though, Keon, right? We're talking about can Georgia win it? The question is, can Georgia win a national championship with Gunner Stockton at quarterback? He also has that defense to rely on. So I think it's a good time to talk about that.
Well, before you get to the defense,
Not so fast.
not so fast, my friend. The other thing too is that Georgia's running game seems to be getting better and healthier. And if Etienne is healthy, that is a major thing for him to lay on, is to be able to turn around, hand it off, and give it to two really quality backs. I would be a little bit concerned if Etienne wasn't going to be able to play, but with him being able to play, I really think that Gunner can get through the first two rounds. I would love to have Carson back for the last game, despite everybody saying he's the best player on the other team.
Yeah, no. I just hope that we can get through our first game and move on to the next round, and then Carson comes back. Now, with Carson back under center, I have full faith that we're going to win the national championship. Without that, no.
See, part of me, I think.
And if I'm wrong, I have no problem coming back to this forum and being like, guys, I completely whiffed on that. Boy, Gunner Stockton is our quarterback. But if we don't win the national championship, I'm coming back to this same podcast and saying open quarterback competition, like all of that, because we have the best. I mean, it's literally just a quarterback position at that point.
Well, let me ask you this. What would either one of you two say if you saw Pug walking out on the field?
We're about to fucking win this, and this guy's about to be the starter.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
That's kind of what I thought.
Yeah, like Pug walk out onto that field and throw two deep balls, just one. They don't even got to be 50 yards.
I would be.
You give me two passes over 25 yards, and that shit lands right in the breadbasket. He's the quarterback.
I just get worried because we talk about Gunner not having experience. That's even more of a situation but at the same time, I think Puglisi probably fits the current scheme under Beck a little bit better than Gunner. So you wouldn't have to change that much up. Now, the question is, too, I think Prime's also hitting on something here, too. He thinks Gunner can help us stay ahead of the chains with his feet, and I agree with that. And like I said, part of that stems from teams having to finally respect the quarterback's legs. With Carson Beck, you don't have to worry about that. And that really it kind of puts a stranglehold on some of the run game at times.
Here's the thing, primetime dog. This is where I push back on that. Because there's most of what you said as far as like, but our games will be a lot closer. It won't be two score games. I completely agree with that. Yet again, with our pass catchers not catching the fucking passes,
that's a problem.
Major, ain't it?
I mean, no, I was.
Yeah, that's a craps game. I'm not willing to play there, and I don't like our odds in it. Unless you're telling me our defense is these next few games is finna walk out of here.
Well, they're capable.
I'm telling you right now, I think with the defense set right, the matchups on our side of the bracket leading up to the national title game, to me, seems kind of favorable.
Yeah, it does, but it scares me.
Defensively.
Yeah, it scares me.
Do you know who's not playing on January 1st? Vanderbilt. So guess who's going to be in the house? Muschamp. And listen, I hear people, but I'm telling you, Muschamp's the real fucking deal. Like, he may not be a good head coach. He probably should never, ever try to be a head coach again. But that man is an elite level defensive coordinator. You put his mind where you don't like him.
Oh, no. Here's something I immediately thought of when you said that. How many coaches do we have on our roster that are a part of the team that are like that? Because immediately I'm saying Bobo, I'm saying Coley, saying
elite level.
Shoot.
No, I'm saying elite level coaches.
No, I don't think Bobo's an elite level coach.
That is true. So we probably got two.
I think Schumann. Well,
Schumann is another one. That's three. That is three.
Yeah. So like my thing is, you got Schumann, Kirby, and Muschamp coming up with a defensive plan, and like with all three of them, I feel confident that no matter what happens, one of them will figure out an answer. Right?
Yes.
That's my point. Is I feel like with the three of them being on the sideline together, one of them will come up with an answer if something's not working. Right? So, like, I just feel real good.
Bro, I agree with that 100%.
Prime time is with me. Muschamp makes a huge freaking defense.
No, he does. He does.
Hey, I got a serious question for y'all boys.
Okay.
Dan, I'm gonna go back on this. You know who else? Do you know who else is not playing on January 1st?
Alabama.
Bama, baby! Bama!
No, they are not.
That's who.
Hugh Freeze.
I'm so excited to play that for you.
Man, that shit. It's the funniest video in the world if y'all have never watched it.
Listen, I'm telling you right now, Mike Bobo, I just dialed something up, buddy. If you need a staff member, I got you.
Bro, I don't think y'all understand how ready I will be to get this man gone if we don't end up in the national championship.
So, do you guys know who Vern Funquist is on Twitter, right?
Yeah, Marler.
Yes.
He's good. He's a good guy.
Did you see his biggest needs for each team in the transfer portal? His number one was a quarterback that's not on TikTok or dating a supermodel. And then the second one was Buster Faulkner as offensive coordinator.
Oh, bro.
Now, I want to get back into this, though. Prime is literally leading the charge here. Talk about tight ends need to be our top receivers. I will say this. The offenses looked a lot better once we started getting the tight ends more involved. Cannot sit here and go without talking about Lawson's catch with Stockton. And one of the things, too, with Gunner, right? Something that's, I think, I don't know how to make feel of it. I want to ask y'all this. Do you feel it's a fluke or not? The way Gunner throws the football and how it comes to the receivers, it's a heavier football, right? It's a heavy ball, right? How much of an impact? Because I felt like the guys were catching those passes. And they're not easier to catch, it feels like. How much of it was those guys stepping up to help him out? And how much of it was just, maybe it was just something different and it worked? Or is it a fluke? I want to get y'all's opinions on that. Because I think the quarterback throws are completely different. But it seemed, Arian didn't have a drop in the second half.
I'm drinking an invisible drink.
Oh my God.
Green screen. Listen, I don't buy into that. Well, there's some guys that just throw the piss out of the ball, right? And they just throw the piss out of the ball for no reason. There's plenty of times where you have to, like, the change of pace, right? You can't throw 100 miles an hour on every single play. You have to be able to layer your throws, and you have to be able to take some off, add some, fit them in windows, whatever. And I never felt that way with Carson. I never felt like he was trying to rip every single throw. But some guys just throw a more catchable ball, and it's hard to quantify. Like, it's hard. It's just a thing. And you just know it when you see it. And if you're ever played wide receiver, or I played tight end, and you're catching the ball from different quarterbacks, sometimes you just catch the ball better for one quarterback than the other. And there's really no reason for it. The ball is the ball. I guess the biggest difference would be if one guy couldn't put the ball where it's supposed to be, but that doesn't seem to be the case. It's just some guys, I can't explain it. It is a real thing, though. It is. I wouldn't say that.
I wouldn't say it's a fluke. I don't think it would be a fluke, though.
I don't know where you get heavier ball. I don't see that at all.
It's just it comes in hard. It comes in a lot harder, faster, different.
I don't think so. I think Carson Beck throws the shit out the ball.
I just feel like also Carson Beck can layer the football too, and that kind of puts a little bit of touch on the ball that I don't think Gunner's comfortable with doing as much.
I think the way how Gunner, y'all ever played dodgeball?
Yes.
He throws every football like a fucking dodgeball.
Gunner does?
Yes. Like, you could tell that he is fully trying to beam that bitch every single pass.
Yeah. Is it
And
something
it
you wanna-
the crazy thing is, it looks like it.
dude? You know what? It's like, hold on. It's like the ones where you're throwing them and they kind of have a little bit of squish to them, so they don't go as fast or anything. And then you get that firm one, and it just goes fast as shit. And you're like, whoa, something like that.
Yeah, that's the way how he throws it every single time.
Yeah, I got you.
It's like no regard for the wide receiver's fingers. Like,
Dan might be
here
laughing.
comes this
He just
fucking
relived his
piss
childhood
missile.
too. He just relived childhood too.
No,
I know
you
he did.
guys don't even know those big rubber ass balls that would those things hit your face. Oh my god, they would leave a
I
welt.
got caught with. Trust me, I got caught with one on deployment one time. That shit was not fun.
Bro, it is like, you ever play Call of Duty, and they hit you with the flashbang and all you hear is like, yeah, that shit hits you in the face. It's like,
Gotcha, bitch.
Yeah. Oh, gee, we got Keon.
yeah, you got me on that one. But that's just what it is, man. That shit, somebody just throws that shit. Oh man, it's horrible. It is horrible.
But no, I think another thing too, and I know we're literally only being able to go off of a half of a football, right? But in that one half of football, I would love to see this potentially transfer over into more games. And it's his decision making, right? Keep in mind, 12 for 16, obviously had the one pick, right? Trying to throw it away, didn't get there. You can analyze and critique that play for sure, right? Look in the middle of the field. I think he got spooked. I understand. We've done that enough, I think, in my opinion. However, the decision making, the checkdowns when things are not there, I would love to see that transfer over, but I do need to see more confidence pushing the ball vertically. Would you agree or disagree?
I agree. Also, sliding. Just think about it.
Yeah, a little bit there. A little bit there.
Because I'm not gonna lie, he take one more of them hits, Ryan Puglisi is coming into the game.
You ain't gonna get his fucking wish. He wants Puglisi in this bitch, don't you?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do.
Listen, my son plays quarterback, and he went to the Georgia game, was down there on the field, and he texted me. He's like, bro, he's like, the best ball out here is Pug. Like, he throws the best ball. Like, out of all the other quarterbacks. No, I mean, Gunner wasn't he wasn't talking about Beck. Beck was doing something else at the time, but of all the other quarterbacks that were throwing, so Beck not included, he was like, dude, he throws the absolute best ball. Absolute.
Bro, he's throwing seeds, like, for sure. That shit.
I think
that shit's out of there quick.
Well,
Like,
to be fair, in high school, right? He was still more of a passer, but had the mobility to run. I think I feel like he's like the hybrid between Beck and Gunner in a sense of he'll run that bitch and he's quick with it, but he'll stand in there and he'll throw that bitch too, and he's not scared to hum and put balls into deep shots. Like he's not scared to take them. Which I guess if we're looking at it this way, one, please do slide. I thought I saw a murder on the field. Not gonna lie, right? It made Marvin Harrison Jr.'s shot look weak.
Bro, the simple fact, I thought his knee was tore up. And
dude, I thought his knee was cooked. I was like, he folded back like that. I was like, oh no.
Yeah. The simple fact that he didn't put the ball on the ground is the saving grace. And dude, people don't understand. They don't understand.
Aloha.
If he puts that ball on the ground, game's over.
Lose. Yeah, because the targeting was not called. Targeting was not called. So,
which I also think is bullshit, by the way. Okay, if y'all gonna cry about us punching on Quinn Ewers' bitch ass and some of them sorry ass wide receivers, okay, y'all need to also call that shit. Just because Dan Jackson is coming in and laying the law on you bitches, man, that was some bullshit too.
Not so fast, Dirty Dan.
Now, KJ, he did that shit. But Dan Jackson, KJ did that shit for sure.
Coach Hayes has a really good point saying him holding on to the football was remarkable. And I agree. That kind of leads me into this right here. The energy that came with him coming into the football game in that second half was noticeable to me. I'm curious to see how it transfers over to the Sugar Bowl. But to me, it seemed like in that second half, the guys wanted to play for him. They were pumped for him. That first time he lowered his shoulder and ran over the DB or whatever, you saw the defense getting hyped up. Sometimes that matters, right? Having that kind of it factor, right? Where it juices up everybody else on the team because they bought into him and they believed in him. And I think there was in the Georgia football trailer, the mini movie that they did. If you heard "Lost and Lucky," it tells me a lot. Well, if I believe in you more than if you know what I'm saying, if you believe in yourself more than I believe in you, we're set. At that point, obviously, to paraphrase, that right there speaks volumes to me from a former quarterback because I have more confidence if my guys around me believe in me too.
I will tell you this. You don't have to look very far into Georgia's past to find an example of this happening. And Jacob Eason was far superior, the better quarterback as far as talent-wise. But Jake Fromm won the locker room. Those boys loved Jake Fromm.
Mm-hmm. You're not wrong.
They did not like Jacob Eason.
No, they didn't. But I'm going to be honest with you. One of these days during the offseason, we're going to tell the truth about how we really felt about some of these past Georgia quarterbacks. We're not going to do that today. We're not going to do it today. But one day during the offseason, we're going to tell the truth.
I hear so many people talking shit about Jacob Eason, but if you ever go back and watch some of the games that he played in, I'm sorry it didn't work out for him. But that kid was incredible, talent-wise.
Yeah, I agree.
I had a lot of faith in
dangerous
Jacob
arm
Eason.
too. Huge arm too.
I haven't been more excited about a quarterback than I was about Jacob Eason, and I still look
at that Missouri game though. Is that one? I was like, oh yeah, there you go.
The Tennessee game. I know we didn't win. Go and watch that damn Tennessee game at the end. That throw he makes to freaking old buddy down the sideline. Holy shit! Ridley.
Riley Ridley.
Yeah.
But no, I think, and Coach Hay says he likes to see Gunner's moxie, no doubt. And again, we saw in the second half, he comes in, that first drive was beautiful. I can't sit here and say anything too bad about that. If we get some of that more consistently, shit's going to be interesting. It's going to be spooky for some folks. Very well could be. Now, obviously, we don't know if we're going to see Notre Dame or Indiana, but I still think our talent on the roster is a little bit better than both. And it's obviously a three-part game. Now, to be fair, I want to ask this. How much of an impact, if we're looking at Georgia as a team, how much of an impact will losing Brett Thorson play into the offense and its success? Because to be fair, he was, Brett Thorson was such a good field flipper, right? That it put the defense into good situations, which ultimately helps out the offense. How do we feel? Does that have any impact on the offense? And if so, explain it.
Losing the best punter in the country is not going to be easy for anybody to overcome. I mean, he was incredible, and he just had a knack of making the plays at the right time. And I can't remember, and I'm sure there has to be one, but I can't recall a single moment where he let us down. Right? I mean, even Cromarda was an amazing punter when he was here. He had a couple, he muffed a couple, or not muffed, but shaked a couple punts.
Whiffed a couple, yeah.
There was a couple times where he hurt us. Not Brett. Of course, I'm going to be higher on the punter than most people, but I think it's going to be huge. I just hope we don't need a punter. How about that? I hope we just don't need a punter.
Well, I mean, again, though, if Gunner Stockton can, and really Mike Bobo, I think ultimately the offense will fall on Bobo coordinating for his guy now, right? You've had at this point come Sugar Bowl, you will have had just a little bit over 3 weeks. And it doesn't sound like a ton of time.
Yes, the fuck it is.
Well, no, I mean, like you have like all off season. That's what I'm talking about. It's not. It doesn't feel like a long time. Is what I mean. Because you've only got a handful of practices. But if you're the coordinator that we expect you to be, and you came in and recruited this kid personally, you have the ties to him, you recruited him in here personally, now's the time to show us what's in the bag, Bobo. Is that Canada Dry?
Yes, it is.
I'll be damn. It's like a chameleon. I can see through it. But no, seriously though, yeah, I look at it. You've had 3 weeks. You know what he likes. You recruited him the hardest, so you should know. There shouldn't be really much excuse on this from a coordinating standpoint. I better not see anything that way, especially in the first game. Now, Keon, you did bring up a point where there might still be a shot where you might see Carson Beck before the title game. If that is the case, I do think Georgia has a little bit better shot just because of the experience.
Belt to ass.
Now, my question is this. My question is this. Sure. If he's able to come back and say we're clicking and we're humming and it looks dangerous as fuck, right? Do you still flip? Do you still make the call?
Hell yes. Hell yes. You've done way too much for this team. Way too much for this team. Way too much for this team. They've been through way too much bullshit this season with this team for you to not be able to go in on those moments. Fuck no. Fuck no. I don't care, bro. No, bro. All of those passes of his that they didn't drop, nah, bro. If we go out, we're going out with our starting quarterback. Fuck that.
So obviously I'm not going to say this is a Texas situation, but it's what Texas fans should be looking at. Say if Gunner lights it up in the Sugar Bowl, we win that game.
Okay.
We move on, and say we're playing Penn State. Say we play Penn State.
Okay.
Say Carson's healthy.
Mm-hmm.
He starts. If the offense looks rough for the first few drives, if you're the coordinator or the head coach, when do you look at you just let it ride? And if the offense is stagnant, it's stagnant.
Offense is stagnant, it's stagnant. You got to ride with your quarterback, bro.
Dan,
you don't wait till the postseason to turn on Carson, because if that's the case, he should have never came back in the first place.
Well, listen, I have an example. There's this guy, Nick Saban. He might be the greatest fucking coach of all time. He didn't have a problem doing it, and he did it twice in the postseason. So if it's good enough for Nick Saban, it's good enough for me. If one quarterback can't get it done, go to the other quarterback. I don't give a shit. So, I mean, I'm with you, Keon. I want to see Carson Beck do well. But if Carson Beck's out there shitting the bed, then and if the other guy has proven that he can do it, then switch. But, I mean, don't switch just to switch. Now, I'm with you. Don't switch just to switch. Okay, you only switch as if you believe that the other guy's going to come in and do better.
Yep.
But you don't switch just to switch. But I'm gonna listen. I will fall back on it. It worked twice for Nick Saban.
You know,
we can't say they suck either because both of them are in the NFL. Tulane,
not wrong. I will say this though. One of the things that I'm going to be interested to watch.
I'm not gonna lie. Tua is one more, bro.
Well, all right. But that's neither here nor there.
You get my point
right now. Boy, that egg is scrambled. Do you hear me? Hey. Woo, shit.
He is a talented quarterback. He just can't stay healthy.
He just starts crying randomly.
So RTB agrees with the way too many drops in the hands, numbers, over the shoulders, all that drop. What is Beck to do with that? That's my thing too. If obviously we didn't see really any drops in the second half, right?
Here's what we need to start thinking about. What happens if we go out there and Carson starts putting these bitches on the money and these wide receivers start dropping the ball? Don't switch the quarterback, Kirby. Switch out them sorry ass wide receivers. Let's have that conversation. Are we ready for that one today on the podcast? We ready for that one? Let's switch out the sorry ass wide receivers who lead the nation in drops and keep putting that bitch on the ground quicker. I mean, Jesus.
I will
But
say, though,
hey, Nitro just tried to hit the portal and leave us. I don't know.
Yeah, he's in
Yeah,
there.
I don't know.
no, he did come back. He's staying. So that's
Anthony
something
Evans just tried to hit the portal and leave us till he got a new Dodge Durango. I don't know.
Trey, I'm still waiting for a Hellcat. We'll settle for a Durango, please. Just settle your debt. I'll leave it there. No, I do have this though. If we come out and say we see Sugar Bowl, you have a clean game, and then say he does come back in the semifinals and Beck starts, but we start seeing more drops. Is that a coincidence or is that a fucking problem?
It's you need to switch out the rotation of the wide receivers.
But what if the same receivers were catching for Gunner though?
You
and didn't drop shit.
Doesn't matter. Hey man, you go with what you've seen. We have seen Carson put the ball on the money all season long in multiple wide receivers' hands, hit them in all 10 fingers, the face mask, and drop the ball. I'm not blaming the quarterback for that. I'm not. What we need to do is switch up those wide receivers, because yet again, if you're not able to make a play, we need to go to people who can.
I will say this.
Don't just jump to blaming the quarterback. Now, if Carson come out here and start throwing picks galore and they're, oh, bro, what the fuck was that? The wide receiver wasn't even over there. Cool. You want to bring in Gunner? Bring in Gunner. But anything else outside of that, that's not a quarterback problem.
See, my question too is this. I know we just talked about this too, but one of the things that I like about Gunner and I think can help is his energy. And I think Coach Hayes said this perfect, right? The moxie that he brings. That's something that Carson really doesn't have, but it's been kind of like showing spurts, right? Like little sparks, if you will. But it's been in a negative way, right? Like he got pissed off at the receivers for dropping it, and rightfully so. I'm not mad about that. I understand. And really, you look at the drops, and they're all in the worst time, right? Third downs, it could drive, continue the drive, and you drop them. Like, shit like that. It's annoying.
How many
For me,
drives
though,
how many drives have we had stall out because, yet again, Carson to put the ball on the money, then hit the wide receiver in their hands. Ball on the ground. I mean,
I don't know about y'all, but I really would love to see Nitro get some run and on some deep shots, man. I think when he played, I thought he was doing a good job. I think it was the Tennessee game. I felt like he was creating some separation off of releases. And that's something that Georgia's had a hard time with all year, is creating separation. Ain't seeing hardly any of that.
That's another problem.
To me, that is the worst thing imaginable for a quarterback with less experience, because now you're forcing him to throw into tighter windows than he could be if you were be able to create space and separation. You can design things open, but you still got to release, and you still got to be able to create separation as a runner or as a receiver. And
look. I don't want everybody to listen to this and think that I'm all doom and gloom.
Yes,
this
you are.
is just I'm not, but I'm just being honest about what I've been seeing all season long. Like, and I've really sat back and listened to people blame Carson Beck for shit that he has no control over. But then again, also turn around and be mad at the guy because, oh, well, he's not showing enough emotion. Well, if he was a quarterback that was showing emotion, how do you think he would have reacted to the simple fact that his pass catchers lead the fucking nation in drops and we are always off the field damn near for every third down? I see you put in that Zen. There you go, buddy. Yes, sir.
It's actually this thing called Flow. It's a mushroom pouch. It's no nicotine, no tobacco. I've been dipping since I was 14 years old. I was doing like almost 2 cans a day, and I have not had a dip in 6 months.
Dude, I quit back in like 2017.
I have not had a dip in 6 months, and I've been in these little Thank you, sir. These little mushroom pouches. Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Flow. Shout outs to Flo. Hey, Flo, how about you? You know what? This is the perfect time for us to say that this is working. It is a wonderful product. And Flo, feel free to sponsor the podcast.
Yeah,
now,
there
back
you
to
go.
my rant. Hey, motherfuckers who catch the ball. I don't know how else to say it, Coach Hayes. Right? Like, I'm sorry. Catch the ball. Like, what? If you can't catch, how about you catch a seat on the fucking bench? I don't know what else to say. We made it here to the playoffs. This is do or die. You either win or go home. You either shit or get off the toilet. Okay? You either check the email or hit the delete file.
When your legs don't work like they used to before.
When your hands don't work like they used to before. Where is
this?
I mean,
Ransom the Don says Beck leads in interceptions. What if I told you he leads in touchdown passes too, though?
Exactly.
And he hasn't really. I mean, listen, he's thrown 2 picks in the SEC title game. Both didn't count though, so he got them for free. All right.
Can you imagine, like, if Carson wasn't able to play another game for Georgia, right? His career would have ended pick, fumble. Yeah. That's brutal.
That's brutal.
His last 3 plays would have been pick, fumble. Then, like you said, those picks didn't count, but still, hopefully he has a chance to come redeem himself. He came back and totally redeemed himself.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine
fucking dip
bro? Really imagine Carson Beck comes back the game after the Sugar Bowl. We go on a run. We win the Natty. And now we're looking at this whole situation like, man, you just needed to get your confidence. Mm-hmm. You just needed your confidence. You just needed wide receivers not to drop the fucking ball.
So that's not, like, but sometimes a guy finds himself when he's forced to walk. And I think there was a lot of people who, there are a lot of coaches that I've talked to over the years, and they all have different philosophies. I will never say that there's one right way to do anything, right? There are some coaches who feel like sitting a kid down and giving him a chance to watch for a minute can have great my brain just went completely blank and I feel like an idiot. It can really help.
It'll let you
right.
It'll put you in a different perspective from a viewpoint. Yeah.
I know basketball is it's a hard sport to compare to football because it's so different. But there are times where the emotions get the better of somebody, and you got to sit them down on the bench and just let them sit there for a minute, and then you can put them back in, and they're fine. And that's what Sarkisian was trying to do with Quinn Ewers in the first game with Arch, was to pull him out of the game, give him a couple series to calm down, and then put him back in. This, in a way, could be a good thing for Carson because he's forced to sit and watch, and it might give him a different perspective, and maybe he will have great results.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
It's very possible. Again, like I'll tell you this: when you're on the field, you see it one way.
Mm-hmm.
Now they have the tablets and shit, right, where you can look at that way. But seeing it from the sideline, it kind of lets you see different ways, things that your mind is not open to seeing when you're constantly on the field and every play you're playing, right? You see it from the different perspective. You look at it in different ways, and it can really, if you do it properly, I think both coach and player, if it's done properly, can and will benefit the team. It will benefit the player, which would obviously in turn benefit the team. I just think that it has to be done, and there's a balance because you have to be reassuring, right? You see what I'm saying? Because like, if depending on the quarterback, man, if you sit them down, they think you're getting benched, and it can demoralize them.
Absolutely,
you have to be reassuring. You have to explain it over and over and drive the point home. You are our guy. I want you to see it from a different perspective so that it will help you when you see it on the field. You will see it from multiple vantage points, not just the one that you're used to the most. Because that one little bit, all right, that one little extra added insight could be a game-changing decision.
Well, you're exactly right, because there's, like I said, I've talked to a lot of different coaches. They have different philosophies. There's the one coach who thinks sitting a guy down can be a great reset and have great results. But then there are other coaches who have told me to my face, I will never sit my quarterback, because then the moment you do that, it enters a shred of doubt. Whether it be that much or that much, it doesn't matter. The first time that you take them out of the game for somebody else, you have now questioned them in front of the team, and the quarterback has to be a leader of the team. So, like I said, every coach has a different philosophy. I understand both points, and I think they're both valid points. Sometimes maybe, like you said, to separate yourself from it can be great, but then also when a quarterback walks in the huddle, they have to have a complete control of it. And those guys have to believe that quarterback. Like you've heard those stories where this is my favorite quarterback story of all time. So it's the Super Bowl, the 49ers against the Bengals. And Joe Montana walks in the huddle, and they're getting ready to go on that 90-something yard drive to win the football game. I'm sure you guys are familiar with that drive. So they walk into the huddle. There's like a couple minutes left, and I like the pressure is out of this world. And I think it was Randy Cross was the center. I'm not 100% sure who it was. He said he walks in the huddle and goes, "Hey, is that fucking John Candy over there? I'll be damned. All right, let's go, boys." And like the point of the story is that he was just so cool, right? And that's where he gets the nickname Joe Cool. It's just that like it is the most pressure-packed moment, and at that moment everybody trusted, like, bro, he's so fucking locked in. We're about to go score. Like,
to be fair, we'll bring it back into Georgia perspective, Dan. When I saw Gunner in the second half,
he hates
I
it
thought
when I say stories, doesn't he? Go ahead, Robert. It's all right. He hates my stories.
Dan Rice. No, it's just I don't care about the NFL, but I appreciate your story, sir. I appreciate you for that. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
But no, I do think, for instance, like you saw the guys kind of like, again, we talked about it, kind of get them hyped up, right? They know how much Georgia means to him, and I think that kind of just pushes itself out and oozes on everybody. It's just infectious, right? Because you can feel that. But also, I'll use another story, and I'll go on to a little story. This ain't NFL though. In my high school, we did triple option. So I'm gonna use this example, even though you're gonna lose some people here. One of the hardest things to do is determine, right, your read keys. You got to see them crash down where they're going and be able to pull it in game speed. Get pulled off the field. You're reading it wrong. And I'm just trying to figure out how, right? Because you looks like he crashes down. So you pull it. It's wrong. All it takes is to look from the sideline. Say you're running option right. Read the key. You're reading the end, whatever. Comes in one little step, one step a little bit up instead of straight down. I didn't see that on the field. When I got off the field and I was looking from the sideline, I can see that foot and what it looks like. Next time you get on there, you sit there and you see that and you're like, makes sense. You have different perspectives and it helps you out. Using that as an example, you're never going to see the option like that unless you're Army. But hey.
Didn't Army lose today?
Oh, they did. They got bitched around. This is an Air Force podcast. To hell with Army and Navy for all I care. Yes, said it. Because I can say it.
You know, Rob, we had that conversation off air. And just keep in mind, those trenches won the Joe Moore Award.
Yeah, by the way, buddy, that ain't good defense. That sounds about like the current state of our military. Woof. You call that defense? You call that protection? Shit, that's like that's a condom full of holes in there right there. Yikes.
No point, right?
No, there's points. There's just holes all in that bitch. Either way. So we about to lose, folks. Let's get back into football. I do want to kind of do this right here too. Defense. Defense, I think, could honestly get us to a national title game regardless of the quarterback. Do y'all agree on that? Hey, by the way, there's a Buckus Award winner on that team, Mr. Jalen Walker from Salisbury. Yay.
Shout outs to him.
Not first team all SEC. Buckus
Which
Award
is crazy. How do you win the Dick Buckus Award, but you're not first team all SEC? That's fine. They don't know what they're doing. But
bullshit, bro.
It is bullshit.
I will say this, though. I will say this. Dan, you alluded to it. Harry just brought it back up in the comments. Coach Boom on the sideline with headphones. Yeah, with the headset. That's the key. But this defense getting healthier, and they are wreaking havoc. You're looking at Chaz Chambliss. I think Michael's doing great. Xavier McLeod really looked good against Texas as well.
Man, a year of development, what will it do for you? Because the shit people were saying about Chaz Chambliss this time last year.
It wasn't like he was bad last year, honestly.
He
was doing some good things, but
there it is. Come on, Dan. Come on down with the truth. Come on down with the truth. Come on down.
Dan's about to say, go dig your partner up.
He had a hell of a year this year. How about
that? Man, he done played some good football this
year. You know, but in fairness, if you remember Nolan struggled at times those first 3 years, and then that fourth year he turned into a completely different player.
Man,
sometimes it just takes a minute for people's light to come on, right? And when they do, it's Katie bar the door. With Jalen Walker, I mean, Jalen Walker is like, man, he's been good, right? But he's not been Jalen Walker, not until this year. I mean, look at Trayvon Walker. Trayvon Walker, number 1 pick in the NFL draft. I didn't know his freaking name until that last year. I mean, I really didn't.
You could say the same. You could say the same thing with Channing and Quay.
Listen, like I said, at Georgia, you play behind some really, really talented people. That's part of the reason. The second reason is sometimes it just takes a minute for that thing to click. But listen, all that aside, to get back to your point, because I'm gonna fall asleep at some point.
He said, "We born."
No, this defense has the talent, and we made a comment earlier about how I've kind of graduated from the what if to this is what Georgia is, because the body of work is so big now, it's complete, right? The body of work is complete. What Georgia is what Georgia is. All the fantasy land that we had before the season about this might be the best, fastest, blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, it's not. But it's still a really damn good defense. And we still have some really damn good, talented players. Now, with Coach Boom back in the mix, and like I said earlier in the show, and I don't want to be redundant, but with Schumann, Kirby, and Muschamp on that sideline, I have the ultimate confidence that no matter what the other team tries to do, we're going to be able to come up with an answer. And we've got, KJ's not a freshman anymore. He's played a whole season. He's ready to go. I don't question our back end as much as I did earlier in the season. Can we get beat on pass plays from time to time? Absolutely, we can. The one thing that we're going to have to do in these playoffs is we're going to have to ramp up our ability to get to the passer. And if they're able to do that successfully, if they can put more pressure on the quarterback, I don't have a concern in the world. I really don't. But again, this defense has the talent over there on that side of the ball, and now we have restocked and refueled that coaching staff on the defensive side. I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable with that defense. I don't think they're really going to be stressed until we get to Oregon. I really don't. Keon, what you got?
Them dogs. That's an ugly ass fucking dog, bro. I'm gonna be all the way honest. That little motherfucker hideous.
Man, you're gonna hurt Robert's feelings, bro. Rookie's got his shit. He's on mute, just talking shit.
Just this whole time.
I really don't care.
That's not even his dog.
What is that thing? And when you first pulled it up, all I saw was the side and the back. I thought you were holding a raccoon. I was like,
no, It's a Chihuahua.
He's a Chihuahua. Oh,
Don't
shit,
get no
Rob.
Taco Bell.
All right, let's do this. Let's wrap the show up. Dan, we'll let you go first because you're the oldest. Age before beauty here.
Thanks.
Dan, I'll let you go first. Keon, you go second. I'll go last.
I'm the youngest here, so I'll go last. You got it.
Oh, son of a bitch. You're right.
Yep.
Let's do this. Let's answer the question. I'm going to be specific here because I know there's two different situations. Can Georgia win a national championship with only Gunner Stockton at QB?
There is a way that can happen. Absolutely.
It's possible. Possible.
Yeah.
Rude says dogs by 50.
Roots.
I like Rude's style right there.
Go ahead, Robert. You answer the question. You're next, dude.
I think Georgia can win it with Gunner. Again, you can say what you want. It's a team sport. It's not just one man. I trust that defense as well. That defense will build. Listen, we've had that defense bail a lot of folks out, man. That offense has been bailed out several times. I think the defense can get it done.
All right, Rob, go ahead and ask me the question.
Can Georgia win a national championship with just Gunner Stockton?
No shot.
And
if I'm wrong, I will come back to this forum and admit that I am absolutely wrong. But as of right here, right now, it is over.
I will say this. I think we can all agree if Carson Beck comes back, we should win a national championship.
Big facts.
Okay. So there's your answer, folks. Hold our feet to the fire. I'll even bring the Chihuahua back up if need be to put her feet to the fire too. I don't give a shit. Chihuahua. Let's see. So Harry's saying yes. If you like, hold on. First things first. Leave a like, follow, subscribe.
Rudes. I hear you, buddy.
No, seriously.
Rudes is being technical right there. Rudes being
just
technical as shit.
Fuck no.
Might be the comment of the night right there. What, just Gunner? No. With Gunner and the rest of the team? Yes. I will make that the comment of the night from Mr. Rudy Poo.
Well,
Rudy Poo.
Candy ass. Oh, sorry. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry, my old WWF kicked in. But anyways, folks, leave a like, follow, subscribe. If you're listening on Apple, listen on Spotify, rate us, review us, give us some stars, right? 5 stars like Georgia, like Georgia should always get. It's free, and it helps us out a ton too.
Leave a comment. Let us know if what take is outrageous, what take that is outrageous that you agree with, because I want to know that from you guys.
Yeah, just let us know in the comments. Yes or no, can Georgia win a national championship with Gunner Stockton at quarterback?
And if your answer is fuck no like mine, mention me, you saying fuck no with me, just so I can tally this up, right?
Keon's about to be the doom and gloom to Disney dolls. Where they at? Where they at? Good. Anyways, that's all we've got, folks. Remember, Christmas is right around the corner. So go to dgdpodcast.com/alumni hall. Do some shopping. Get some last minute stocking stuffers, ornaments, right? Get all that good stuff. Get ready for Christmas coming up soon. Like I said, go on our website, do that. 8% goes to the collective, or go to in stores in Athens, mention the show, get 10% off your order. Any final thoughts, boys? I felt we've answered this question. Any final thoughts?
Carson, please come back and play after the Sugar Bowl so we can win the national championship.
Why did I just get this in my head? Baby, come back. That's Keon right now. That's Keon, 100%.
Like I said, if I'm wrong, I'll come back to this forum after we've won the national championship and say that there's nobody a part of the fan base that has doubted Gunner Stockton like I have, And for that, I am truly I'll give my whole soliloquy, right? I'll give you a solid 10-minute apology, right? If we win the national championship this year without Carson Beck.
Dan,
But
$5 says he's 15 minutes late to the apology,
no,
38
it'll
minutes.
start when I walk in. Right, of course.
which is
But
15 minutes late, but fair enough.
yeah, no, that's a fact. But the apology will begin once my arrival occurs, right?
To our YouTube folks, you're welcome. You just answered
Right.
the question. Dan Jackson for Heisman, final answer. Yeah. Travis Hunter
Yeah.
didn't win it. Dan Jackson did. Dan Jackson did. Understandable.
No.
Guys,
Seriously though, shout out to Travis Hunter. That shit was insane. Like, also, damn, Deion Sanders.
by the way,
Did it
I
again.
think part of me thinks Genty breaks the all-time rushing record for for a season.
Mm-hmm.
I can see it. I
Against
do- I
Penn
can see
State
it.
because he ain't fucking doing it against Georgia.
We are beating that shit down.
That is a big fuck no against Georgia. Sorry, buddy, you ain't
Yep.
doing that.
Nope.
Yeah. Pardon the French there, folks, but
So he's
just
got to
like-
have 260 something yards against Penn State.
Ooh,
Yep.
that's all they do for them. I ain't gonna say that's all they do, but that's a heavy chunk of what they do. So it
That's
could be
mostly
done,
what
but
they do.
anyways, let's see how that happens. With that being said, like I said, like, follow, subscribe, rate, and review us on Apple and Spotify. We're done. We'll see you on Monday. We're going to talk schedule, folks. 2025 schedule release. We're going to save that for its own show. Make sure we'll catch that next time. But with that being said, have a great night, great morning, good rest of your day. Whenever you listen to this, go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.